My name is Jen Hello, and I've been working in homeless services for about 5 years now. I started at the Arch and have just kind of worked my way through various agencies. I currently do disability applications for folks in a supported housing unit. I spent a lot of time in the service industry, like between baristaing and bartending, and I went to photo school for 4.5 years, and then needed to get a degree. So I got my degree in human services, and a buddy of mine ran a foot clinic down at the Arch back in 2008, and I went and volunteered there, and that was kind of my launching point. But then I just needed to do something. I needed to follow my heart and help people instead of serving people. I guess that can be argued that they're the same, but I got tired of serving alcohol, to be honest.
I heard about them, and I heard enough to know that I didn't want to go there. But I had a bunch of friends that had went and stayed there, and there was a couple of little incidents or whatever, but it was cool. I never really stayed in camps. I stayed right here for a long time, but it was almost 4.5 years before I ever even let myself get comfortable being homeless. And by comfortable, I mean getting a tent or any of that crap. I didn't have a tent. Almost 5 years I didn't have a tent. I fell asleep on the sidewalk or something. But this comes from me getting pushed off a bridge and run over by 2 cars.
Well, it's kind of unclear what happened with him. What we know is that he came off a bridge. We don't know if he was pushed or if he jumped or if he just fell. I don't think anybody knows, and nobody will ever know what happened. He lost a leg. He got a head injury. He's got a scar that runs across his head, and he spent 6 months in the hospital before they discharged him to a rehab facility. He's been on the streets a long time, 20-something years. He used to be much harsher and meaner than he is now. He's very sweet now, and I appreciate that. He's always excited to see us when we go visit him. Yeah, brutal story. No matter how he fell off the bridge, he fell off the bridge. He's lucky to be alive. That's for sure.
I was wanting to see if you could give context about his idea of unconditional love.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This is what I'm going to charge you. I'm going to charge you some of your unconditional love by the minute. So that's going to be a lot of unconditional love you're going to have to give me. Are you ready for that? Okay, questions. Give me a sec. Let me give you the proper how I became to be homeless by not doing what I was told, by following worldly ways, peer pressure, wanting to be like my older brothers before time. Mom taught me everything. Oh, she gave me love. She forgave me, all that. But when I entered into the world, I even went in the Navy. I'm not going to tell you that. Peer pressure. So I felt to relieve this peer pressure, I'm going to be like the world. And the world let me down. Everything that I tried let me down, which caused me to fall into homelessness. Okay? That's the only thing I can blame it on. I got so caught up in the worldly life, thinking that everything was fine. What? But then when I got dropped like a hot potato because of my worldly behaviors, that's when homelessness started setting in. Mom, no, don't come over here. Friends, no. The ones that I had money, okay. I ran out of money, no. This is what I go out under the bridges and I tell them, look, it's not that tough. There's a story in the Bible where the king says go out and invite all the people, the politicians, to the wedding that he meant to have. That's the parable. So he came back and said they wouldn't come. He said, so go under the highways and the byway. What's under that highway? Homeless. What's on top of that highway? Homeless. So I go out in the highways and the byways. But people like me came to me in the highways and the byways. And they asked me questions. They said, do you know Jesus? I said, yeah. You know God? I said, yeah. They said, well, the only thing that's going to help you come out of this situation is to commit your works to the higher power, the Creator. I don't want to offend nobody. Allah, the higher power. Commit your works to that, and your thoughts will be established. So, you're committing your work to this interview for your school. I'm ecstatic. That has my heart pumping. And I'm hoping that you gather what I'm telling you. Because I was in the Navy, I had it all. And boom, I sunk like a bottle of rocks in water. A bottle will float. I had some rocks to it. Okay, so, but rocks started coming out the more I studied, the more I kept the faith. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna be left here. My mother told me I'm not gonna be left under this bridge. My mother told me that I'm gonna get a job. How am I gonna do that? By keeping faith. 10 years ago, that boy said, hey, homeless navigation center. I started volunteering because I felt bad for eating their food, wearing their clothes. So some said, hey, try volunteering. Further your belief, further. And that's what brought me out of a homeless state of mind.
It does really?
Hmm?
Like stickies?
It's called unconditional love, agape love. So I started having love for my fellow man, which were homeless. I didn't have love for the politicians. Sure, they come down there, here's some tents. Hey, look, we're going to vote for you guys, but y'all need to leave. Where are we going to go? Well, we're going to impose $1,800 fines for camping in the city. We don't have no money. People say, step in the political ring with that. I'm not. It's not my job. I'm not a politician. I'm a steward. We, the people who want to do these interviews, hold these polls and stuff, we do it for a reason. And we want to understand. So tell that story. Help them understand. Don't take religion to them. Don't take agape love, unconditional love. That's what brought me out when I started paying attention to people like Mark Hillbilink. I was embarrassed to come over here. For 4 years, I went through this city. I did some bad stuff, got chastised for it, but I did a lot of good stuff. Then some said, keep on doing good stuff. Boom, I'm out of what man called homeless.
Community integration is what it really is, and that's one of the really good things about Sunrise. I have to say that I'm not religious in the slightest. I don't believe in a higher power. I guess I'm agnostic, but I like to work with Sunrise because of their holistic approach, and I think spirituality is a big part of that, and the unconditional love part is just being willing to accept people for being people. We all have trauma, we all have heartache, we all have problems, and to judge somebody for being in a situation where they don't have enough biosurvival tickets to get themselves 4 walls and a ceiling, if they don't, not everybody has the capacity to make money, but we live in a capitalist society, and we need to find a way to be better. We need to take care of each other. That's what if we're not doing that, what are we doing? how are we living if we're not taking care of our neighbors? And that's a big part of the problem with Prop B, and where, when you look at the map of where the voters are, like the center of Austin is where people are, and also voted against Prop B, and it's everything in like the west part of Austin up into Lake Travis that tends to be more conservative, tends to be more religious, tends to have more money, and they voted for Prop B. And my problem with, not to make an us and them situation, but that's kind of how I feel, because it's so upsetting that if they are more religious, then how are they not listening to the teachings of their book? Like, they're supposed to love their neighbor. They're supposed to take care of the poor. They're like supposed to feed people when they're hungry and clothe them when they don't have anything, and they don't. They don't. It's prosperity religion. Like, that's what they're preaching, but they're not, they don't like dirty people. And that's fine. Dirty people probably don't want to be dirty. They just don't have anywhere to shower. And fortunately, we have some really good social programs in Austin. We have some really good people working on really tough issues, making shower trailers and running work programs and helping. It's not even about helping people. It's just, maybe it is. It's just reaching out your hand. It's being there. It's being human. We are, as a society, how we take care of the ones at the bottom. And we don't, as a society. There aren't that many of us that choose it.
Lost, lonely, indecisive, not knowing what I was going to do the next day. All that. I got to panhandle some change because the beer or the crack eases my pain. It does for a moment, but it takes my mind away from life. It's death, and I started realizing that I was seeking life in death. But the most thing about being homeless is fear. Now, I don't mean scared fear. I mean mental fear. You understand what I'm saying? So what am I going to do to cover this fear? I choose all the wrong things to cover that fear. Some people, I want to be homeless. That's still a fear. That's a phobia. Why you want to be homeless? I get to ask these questions because I was homeless for 20 years. So, look at my boss. So, I was fearing. I wasn't scared of trying to get a job, this, that, and the other. I feared homelessness on a different level. Well, the same level. I'm no more homeless or no more less homeless than anybody. I'm equal with all the homeless people. Because I was out there. Fear of being accepted by family. Fear of being neglected by the world, the job. Fear of people finding out that I did bad. So I'm going to stay away from it. I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody to... now that makes me subject and susceptible to drugs. You don't necessarily need your money. It helps. You need your love. Your unconditional. We need to know that the CEO of Tesla will roll up his sleeves, come down here, hand out sandwiches, clean the toilets, clean the dumpster. The head of Capital Metro that wants the money for the trains and all that stuff. Come on down here. Come on out. I'll be here. Come on out, you politicians, governor. Come on out and talk to us. We ain't gonna bite you. We ain't mad. And we don't have $1,800 to pay this tent. Fine.